Have you ever promised yourself you would start only when you felt ready, but then 2 a.m. arrives, and all you have is heavy guilt? After hours of scrolling through endless feeds, you realize the time is gone. We aren't lazy. We are just waiting for a guest who never shows. That guest is inspiration. We believe it is the fuel we need to move. But in reality, it is the most unreliable partner you could have. The blinking cursor seems to mock your hesitation. You wait for a spark, a sign, or a feeling of motivation that simply refuses to arrive. It is a cycle of waiting and wasting. We tell ourselves tomorrow will be different, that the mood will strike us with lightning force and clarity. But inspiration is a ghost. It haunts the rooms of those who wait, leaving them with nothing but empty hours and the weight of procrastination. The more we wait, the harder it becomes to begin. The silence of the room is filled only by the ticking clock and your rising anxiety. Tonight is another lost battle in the war for productivity. You are trapped in the illusion that feelings must precede action to create something meaningful. But what if the secret isn't finding the fire, but learning how to keep the coals warm even when the wind is blowing against you? Seeking answers, Kael finds himself at an old forge. The air is thick with the scent of iron coal and the echoes of heavy hammers. He meets Master Hanzo, a man whose hands are mapped with scars of labor. Hanzo doesn't look up. His focus is locked on the steel. How do you create a masterpiece when your mind is empty? Kael asks. The old man pauses, the rhythm of his hammer momentarily coming to rest. Hanzo points to the furnace. The fire isn't roaring wildly. It is a deep, consistent red that hums with a quiet and powerful intensity. Strength doesn't come from the strongest strike, Hanzo says softly. It comes from maintaining a steady temperature. This is the philosophy of the smoldering fire. You don't wait for the heat to find you. You build the furnace and you keep it burning, bit by bit, every single day without fail. To Hanzo, inspiration is just the wind that fanned the first flame, but discipline is the coal that sustains the heat for the long journey. He learns that a blade isn't born in a moment of passion, but through hours of repetitive, boring, and often difficult work in the heat. The iron doesn't care if the smith is in the mood. The hammer must fall, the heat must stay, and the vision must remain clear. Mastery is the result of showing up when the fire is low and the body is tired. It is the commitment to the steady burn. Kael realizes that his waiting was a form of cowardice. He was afraid of the cold forge, waiting for a heat he didn't build. Stop waiting for inspiration because it is erratic and fleeting. Like a lightning bolt, it is spectacular but provides no lasting warmth or power. Discipline is different. It is not a sudden explosion of energy. It is a silent, sturdy structure that you build for yourself every morning. Think of discipline like braiding a rope. Each tiny thread is a small habit, weak on its own, but together they can hold immense weight. When inspiration fails you, and it will, the rope of discipline is what you will hold onto to keep yourself from falling into procrastination. The candle is your mood. It flickers with every breeze. The boiler is your routine. Once it reaches temperature, it moves mountains with ease. You are not looking for a feeling. You are looking for a system, a structure that exists regardless of how you feel when you wake up. This quenching process is where the steel finds its true strength. It is the moment where theory meets the cold, hard reality of action. The smoldering fire isn't about being loud or fast. It is about being inevitable. It is about being the person who simply does not stop. Every minute spent working without the feeling is a brick in the wall of your character. It is the most honest work you do. The master doesn't need to be inspired to hammer. He hammers because he is a blacksmith. His identity is his discipline, not his mood. Returning to his desk, Kael no longer sees a blank canvas as a threat. He sees it as the iron waiting for his furnace. Waiting for the right mood is just a sophisticated form of procrastination. It is an excuse we use to avoid the discomfort of starting. If you only work when you feel like it, you are letting your emotions dictate your destiny. You are a slave to your chemistry. Our brains crave the easy hit of dopamine from distraction. Waiting for inspiration is often just our brain demanding a reward before the work. Professional works on a schedule. The amateur works on inspiration. The difference between them is the consistency of their output and growth. When you commit to a schedule, you remove the need for a decision. You don't ask if you feel like it. You just do it. Success is a game of showing up. If you show up even when you are uninspired, you are ahead of 90% of the world. The trap is believing that great work requires a great mood. It doesn't. Great work requires great focus, and the willingness to be bored. Action creates the mood, not the other way around. Once the hammer starts falling, the heat begins to rise. Start first, feel later. You must kill the distractions that feed your procrastination. Every notification is a bucket of water thrown on your smoldering fire. Protect it. The inspiration trap is now visible to Kael. He realizes he doesn't need to feel like a genius to act like a professional artist. Step 1 is the 5-minute rule. Commit to working for just 5 minutes. The hardest part of the journey is always the first step. Don't worry about quality yet. Just move the pen. Once the momentum starts, the resistance begins to fade into the background of your mind. Step 2 is environment design. Make it harder to get distracted than it is to work. Your workspace should be a temple for focus. Visual and auditory cues tell your brain it is time to work. These rituals help the smoldering fire stay hot even in the cold. Step 3 is breaking it down. A mountain is intimidating. A single step is not. Give yourself tasks that are impossible to fail. Each checkmark is a small piece of coal for your furnace. Small wins build the confidence needed to tackle the larger, harder challenges ahead. Step 4 is accepting mediocrity. Allow yourself to be bad at first. Perfectionism is just another mask that procrastination wears to stop you. You can't edit a blank page. You can't sharpen a blade that hasn't been forged. Get the raw material out. No matter how ugly. This is the quiet structure of discipline. It is a series of small and heroic actions that lead to a heroic and powerful result. He is no longer waiting. He is creating. The fire is burning steadily now, not because of luck, but because of his deliberate choices. The smoldering fire has reached its peak. Flow is the reward for discipline. It is the gift that inspiration gives to the persistent. Time passes differently when you stop fighting your feelings and start following your structure. The work becomes its own source of energy and joy. This is the discipline that will take you to places where inspiration could never reach. It is the foundation of a true professional's life. Kael has built his silent structure. He knows that even if he wakes up tired tomorrow, he has a system to carry him forward. The result is not a miracle. It is the inevitable outcome of a furnace that never went cold. It is the beauty of consistency. The sun begins to rise, signaling the end of the night and the birth of a new Kael. He has survived the inspiration trap. He didn't wait for the fire to explode. He kept the coals warm, and the work was born from that steady, quiet, and persistent heat. The world is full of people waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is a myth created by those who are afraid. Kael remembers Hanzo's smile. The master knew all along that the sword was already finished the moment Kael decided to keep the fire. Discipline is the silent structure you build today to lean on tomorrow. It is the greatest gift you can ever give to your future self. Don't wait for the fire to burn bright. Keep it smoldering. Start now, whether you have the inspiration or not. The feeling will follow. Your masterpiece is waiting for your hammer. Stop waiting, start doing. The smoldering fire within you is more than enough to change everything. The philosophy of the smoldering fire. Build your structure. Trust your discipline. Your inspiration will find you at the forge. And at 512 seconds.